Get our 6. What's up, everybody? We're hanging out poolside here at the Marriott Inn in Williamsburg, Virginia. We've come down to spend a night because tonight we are going to Busch Gardens Howl-O-Scream, one of the biggest Halloween attractions on the East Coast of the United States. And we're going to do it right. We're going to stay at the park from open to close. So we got a hotel about a mile down the road. And we hope you guys join us tonight for some fun and some fear and some screams and some terror. We'll be back at you when the park opens here in about 2 hours. Get my 6. Again. Well, that went over about as well as a lead duck over a waterfall. What do I mean? Well, this isn't Howl-O-Scream, is it? Gosh. Wait till you hear about this huge mistake we made, I guess. But the better story is the recovery, and I'm going to direct you towards footage of that. So, if you don't know what Howl-O-Scream is, just check it out on YouTube. After you've checked out this video, go to the search box, type in Howl-O-Scream. It's like this amazing event they do at Busch Gardens every year, you know, here in Virginia, down in Florida, wherever they have them. Other, you know, amusement parks have similar things like King's Dominion, Six Flags, I'm sure. So, for the 5 years since we moved here to Charlottesville from the Philippines, I've known about this thing. Well, because I remembered, you know, from when I lived here in Virginia before going overseas, but I never went to it. And we love Halloween. We love all things spooky. You know, it's been said, I mean, if you read the back of the book, October Nights, the description of that book, this guy potentially will always be remembered as the man who invented Halloween because of that, you know, October Nights, 31 Tales for the Halloween season, which is available from our Etsy store, link in the description box below with an autograph. Or you can get it on Amazon, ebook version as well. We love Halloween. We love all things fall. We love all things October. It's still like 3 days left in September here as of the recording of this video. So every year we've been like, hey, let's go do Howl-O-Scream. Let's go do Howl-O-Scream. And we've never gotten around to do it. We've always come up with something, some excuse not to go do it. And this is so ironic. This story has so much irony in it. So we decided this was going to be the year. You know why? Because we decided against going to Jamestown, the birthplace of America, where the first English settlers came in 1607. We almost went there this summer after my wife and son returned from their 3-month vacation in the Philippines. We were taking some day trips, and I was like, hey, let's go see Jamestown, but school was getting ready to come back in. So we said, nah, that's enough. That's just too much. So let's just not do it. Because we'd been talking about going to Jamestown for the last 5 years. Because I wanted my wife, who came to this country from the Philippines, and our son, who was born in the Philippines and spent his first 5 years there. Wow. I just saw a strange light in the woods. Let's go, Mobile. We might get us a little bit of a Howl-O-Scream going on here after all. It's almost dark. Just a few minutes before dark. So keep watching. It did rain. I just saw a bat. That's creepy. We are where field meets forest. We know the veil is thin. Watch for the big guys too, okay? And I'm not talking about the Incredible Hulk. I might even step back into these super creepy dark woods here and see if we see whatever the heck that light was. All right, so anyway. Since we didn't go to Jamestown this summer, I said this fall we're definitely going to do Howl-O-Scream. We've got to just stop saying we're going to do these things and not do them. And we do a lot of stuff. It's just sometimes it's just too much. So my wife was like, okay, let's do that. So that's a four-wheeler. Somebody riding a four-wheeler somewhere over there. But that light was like right here, not way over there where that four-wheeler is. So keep watching. So my kid didn't have any school on Monday. They had canceled school for teachers' meetings or something. And I said, hey, let's go do Hollow Scream. Let's make this the year we go. They have people dressed up in horror costumes. They have like 5 different haunted houses. They of course have the rides, all the big roller coasters and whatnot. So my wife and kid were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make this year the year. And I said, hey, since he doesn't have school on Monday, let's drive down to Williamsburg on Monday. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from Charlottesville. Let's get a nice hotel room. Let's do it right. Let's get settled in, swim in the pool for a while, take a nap if we want, which we didn't because we were too excited. Go to Hollow Scream. Yeah, I see that. Keep watching it. I'm not going to move. They're not going to scare me away this time. Famous last words, right? Keep watching. So we get there because we checked the website. Hollow Scream's open from like September 20th to Halloween night. So we're like, great. 5 o'clock, the park opens. So about 5:15, we get in the truck. It's only about 1.5 miles up the road. We were going to walk, but we figured after walking around Busch Gardens for 5 hours, we might be tired and wouldn't feel like walking home, which we would have and could have. But we just drove. So we go up there, pull into the parking lot, and the parking lot's closed off with cones. There's cones everywhere. You can't even get into the parking lot. I'm like, well, this is crazy. And I remember there was a bus entrance just down the road, 1/4 mile before that. And I said, well, let's go do the bus entrance. Maybe since it's Monday. And that was part of our plan too. Go early and go early in the week, during the week. Now I saw a light over there. This is creepy. There's sporadic lights just going off around me. So we just figured, watch up in here. So we figured, yep, look at that. Came out from behind the tree just standing right there. Keep your eyes on it. We figured maybe they were only opening one parking lot. So we go back to where the buses and vans are supposed to go. That's closed too. We found one guard. And he comes up to us and he says, hey, can I help you? And I says, yeah, we're here for Hollow Scream. And he said, sir, we're only open Thursday through Sunday. I was like, what? We drove all the way down here from Charlottesville. We got a hotel room and everything. And he's like, oh, man, I feel sorry for you guys, but we're not open until Thursday night. So we couldn't go to Hollow Scream. So that's why you're not getting to see the Hollow Scream video. You're getting to see this one. So we were a little bit disappointed. We weren't upset. We weren't angry. We weren't depressed. We were just disappointed because we were really looking forward to this. So we turned around to go back. There was a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Our son Daniel loves KFC. I mean, he thinks the greatest thing about America. When we first moved here, the first time I took him to KFC, he was like, this is the number one reason to come to America. Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I have to say, it might not be number one, but it's up there. So we drive past the KFC and he sees it, we've got to go back. So there was a KFC across from the hotel room, and he says, hey, can we get KFC? So yeah, we got some KFC. Went back to the hotel room, and my wife says, well, I guess we're just going to wake up in the morning and go back home. And I said, no, we're not. I said, kid's going to miss school because of the trip back home anyway, right? I said, we are like 9 minutes away from Jamestown. We didn't get to go there at the end of the summer because we decided it was too much. We had done enough already. Let's not go. We decided to come to Hollow Scream because we said, okay, we're no longer going to not do the things with it we've been wanting to do for years. Well, let's take advantage of this opportunity of being 9 minutes away from Jamestown and go to Jamestown. And man, as you can see, and women, it's going to be dark in 10 minutes. I got home 10 minutes ago. We just got home 10 minutes ago because we spent all day at Jamestown. What a blast we had. And it was so wonderful being able to take my wife, who's from another country in Asia, and our son as well, you know, born and raised, spent first half of his life in Asia. They come here. I got to take him to where it all kind of started. Now, of course, there's a geopolitical you got the folks that'll say, like, okay, Jamestown wasn't the beginning of America. It was a failed British colony. The beginning of America was 1776 with the Revolution. I agree with that entirely. But at the same time, we wouldn't have been here to fight for that independence in 1776 if it hadn't been for the folks in Jamestown. Something like 134 of them originally, most of whom died within the first couple of years. The folks spent easily the first quarter century with their foot on American soil, what would become American soil, trying to figure out how to survive. You can look back at the history and talk about, wow, when you talk about privilege, King James is granting you 100 acres for free just to go settle a little further west. Man, can you imagine how much that 100 acres in Williamsburg, Virginia would be worth now? A fortune. But it wasn't any good if you couldn't figure out how to grow your food, how to survive, how to make it through the winter, and you died. It's funny, it wasn't his land to give away anyway to his best good buddies and cousins and nieces and nephews and stuff, man. It belonged to the Powhatan Indians, but whatever, whole nother topic. But we spent at least 5 hours at Jamestown. I didn't see that light come back, so I'm moving around up here. Had a great time. Here's some of my takeaways, though. If you've never been to Jamestown, and if you have the ability to go, you really should go. But I remember I was there as a child. Haven't been raised in America, never left America. I remember seeing the attractions, the sites. They had the rustic living conditions. They had the houses and the cabins where the people lived and worked and showed what life was like. And I remember thinking, oh man, life would have been so hard back then, living like that. And we were there today, and like all the tourists, it looked like a bunch of retired American people because it was a weekday, And you could overhear them saying, oh my gosh, could you imagine living like that? Well, it's funny going back now. I think it's my first time back in 40 years. And having spent years living life overseas in third world countries, living in Asia, Southeast Asia, Philippines, spending time in the Middle East, seeing how the rest of the world lives, let me tell you what, we'd walk into those replica houses and showing how the people live, and Dearly was getting excited. She's like, oh my gosh, honey, I could live here. This is nicer than the house I grew up in. And it was true. It was absolutely true. And then there were people that would hear, and people would randomly, like, where are you from? And she would tell them the Philippines. So they're like, people still live like this back there? And she's like, no, this is better than how most people, and it's true. And it's amazing how you see things so much differently when you have those otherworldly experiences, and you realize 80% of the world currently today is living at or below the same standards the settlers in Jamestown did in 1607, 400 years ago. And that's not a knock on 80% of the rest of the world, and it's not a knock on the settlers of Jamestown. It's just now, I'll tell you this, though. In Jamestown, they had winter. In the Philippines, they don't. So living in a little hut without insulation and no amenities is when it's warm is one thing. But doing it when it's 0 degrees and there's a blizzard and there are some restless natives trying to kill you because you probably might have done something to maybe tick them off. Different situation. But it's getting dark, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. And I've been hearing in the comment section here lately that I just go on and on. I know what they say. They call me the windbag of social media. Hey, welcome to my world, brah. What was my point? A couple things. Biggest takeaways. I'm going to tell you this. The thing my son liked the most were the actual ships. They have replicas of the ships, the 3 ships that the English came over on. What amazed me was how small they are. They're actually tiny. It's not like the movies where they're showing, this big, like Pirates of the Caribbean thing that could hold 1,000 passengers. No, the biggest boat was called the Mary Constantine, I think, or the Mary Constant. 74 people came over on this ship, and it's only like 20 feet long. I mean, they would have been shoulder to shoulder. My wife's biggest takeaway was some of the early tool works of the Powhatan Indians who were living in that area 17,000 years ago. And they had some of their tools like knives, hatchets, arrowheads, razor sharp, made out of stone. My biggest thing I noticed, here's one of the things I noticed as an almost 50-year-old man. It was really neat. It was in regard to the English settlers. They had like an exhibit of where like the planters, the people that came over as indentured servants, and the quarters in which they lived were not, I wouldn't call them much more comfortable than, they were of the lowest quality, lowest life conditions. Then you had what they called the middlers, and that's a term Ben Franklin used. It meant middle class, and it was a little bit nicer living conditions. And it showed how their big thing was they wanted to acquire like silver, like silverware, silver plates, because in glass windows was a luxury. And back then, if you had glass windows, that was a symbol of your middle classness. That means you were not one of those dirty peasant farmer planters. You were, by golly, a middler. You were making your way up in the world, and you had glass windows. Then, of course, it showed the aristocracy, the people who were, appointed personally by the king to come over and be the governors and all this stuff. And they were living nicer 400 years ago than, frankly, me and my family are today. But I don't care, because I don't care about the trappings in life. I care about the quality of life. I don't care about the stuff. I care about the experiences. That's why we like to go places and do things, rather than just buy stupid stuff and fill our garage with stupid stuff that we might use once or twice and never touch again. But we can say, but I have that, thing. Now, we'd rather go somewhere and do something and have memories and experiences that, they'll last us a lifetime. And we did that. So it's really neat to see. My point of this is this whole keeping up with the Joneses thing. It was there 400 years ago. You see it so much in mainstream American society now, especially among the middle class. If you go out and buy a, $400 leaf blower, well, your neighbor's got to go buy the $500 leaf blower. And then he's got to tell you, well, I liked your model, but this one has just a little more HP, and we got a few more trees than you, so we need to, that kind of crap. You buy the whatever vehicle where they go out and get the one with the slightly bigger engine because we live on a slight incline. That kind of crap. Hey, that must be like an English thing or a European thing that, like, part of the mindset that was brought over, because you still see it today. And I was like, wow, they were running that rat race 400 years ago. Amazing. So here's the best news, and I'm going to end with this because it's almost too dark to see me. My wife took video footage of our trip today. It was beautiful. The James River, which we fish on here in Albemarle County, where it's like 100 yards wide, man, down there in Williamsburg, it's like 2 miles wide. And if you want to see it, if you want to see our trip, if you want to join us on our visit, which we already had, so it'd be kind of like you're time traveling too, check out my wife's video. Life with Dearly is her channel. It should be popping up here as an end screen video now. Go check that out, and you'll get to spend some time with us at Jamestown. And if you ever have the opportunity to go, you should. And for the record, before Halloween comes and goes this year, we will be returning to Hollow Scream. We are going to do it this year. However, we're going to make sure it's Thursday through Sunday. See you next time for more. There was that light. Did you see it?